The average American life is over 40 million minutes. That's 40 million chances to laugh, to love, to make memories, and to make a difference. But somewhere around minute 39 million, society starts checking you for an expiration date. Like you're a carton of milk past its prime. They start asking questions like, should she still be driving? Aging in America is not for the faint of heart. In some cultures, getting older earns you reverence, but here, somewhere along the way, we decided that getting older was a problem we needed to fix. So, we dye our hair, we lift our faces, and we hide our birthdays as if they were a moral failure. Older Americans, it's time to stand up and remember. Aging isn't decline. It's our last, most powerful opportunity to leave behind an extraordinary legacy. And let's remember, we're not dead yet, and we're definitely not done yet. And younger Americans, listen up. If you're lucky, you get old. Not everybody does. So, this is for you too. Aging is a privilege. And despite the creaks, the leaks, and the afternoon nap attacks, aging has some surprising benefits. Numerous studies, including the Gallup poll, show that the happiest Americans are over 60. Wait, what? How can we, with our shriveled bodies and orthopedic shoes, possibly be happy? Well, growing up when life was hard, losing people we love, gave us a legacy-building superpower: resilience. We learned that what is important is not money or stuff. It's the life that we're given and how we choose to live it. I learned resilience early. I was born with only 7 fingers due to the morning sickness drug thalidomide. My mother's depression on discovering this led to her hospitalization. My siblings and I were taken by our father and given to a stepmother who didn't want us. My mother never recovered and died by suicide 11 years later. It was a brutal beginning, but it helped me be ready for the storms that lay ahead. Every life has its storms. Surviving childhood prepared me well for surviving adulthood. My adulthood began pretty normally. I married a wonderful man, Jim Harms. We became dentists, had our own dental practice, and then had 3 amazing children. But storms have a way of returning. And when they did for me, they came all at once. In 2007, I lost my brother. A month later, my husband was diagnosed with liver cancer and had a liver transplant. And just when we thought the worst was over, our world shattered into a million pieces when our beautiful, brilliant, talented, deeply loving son, Eric, died by suicide, just as my mother had, and only 45 minutes after a breakup with his girlfriend. How could things fall apart so quickly? But they did, and they do. When Eric died, time lost its shape. The world seemed at the same time unbearably loud and impossibly silent. I felt that my worst nightmare had now become my new reality. I felt so far down into the pit of grief and despair, I didn't think I would ever breathe again. And then one day, as I was leaving my office, a cousin approached me in the parking lot. He had lost his own brother at about the same age that I lost Eric, and he was angry. He was pointing his finger and wagging his finger in my face, and he said, "Don't you ever let your remaining children feel that they're not enough. Don't you do that to them." I was in that zombie stage of grief at the time. You know, you're dead on the inside and trying to be alive on the outside. And his words cut me to the core when I realized what he was saying. When he lost his brother, he felt that he lost his parents at the same time. He believed they were so focused on grief and grieving their lost child, they couldn't attend to the ones that were living. And I was about to do the same thing. I had 2 beautiful daughters and a husband, and they needed me. So I resolved at that moment to fight and claw and kick and scream my way out of that grief pit for my family and for myself. Now, escaping the grief pit isn't easy. It never is. Sometimes you feel like you're almost out of there, and then you just slide right back down. But I learned something important. Grief doesn't have to be a prison. It can be a teacher. And if you do the work, and the work is hard, and you claw inch by merciless inch to get out, you'll find something rare. A joy reclaimed that is deeper, stronger, layered, and grateful for what remains. A year after Eric died, I lost my ability to practice dentistry due to nerve damage in my good hand. Really? Come on, right? Jim and I were trying to mourn the loss of our son. Jim was still sick, and now this. But at least we had each other until we didn't. 2020, I lost my husband of 44 years, Jim. His body just finally gave out, and I found myself staring at the grief pit again. But this time, I was in new, uncharted territory, alone in the dark valley between menopause and death. No guide, no instructions, just me trying to figure things out. And then I realized I'm still here. And if I'm still here, I still have a purpose. And that purpose, really our purpose, is to live our lives with our legacy in mind and pass things on to the next generation. Because everything we've been through, every loss, every battle is useless unless we can pass on what we've learned. I have discussions with my grandchildren quite frequently And I know that these discussions are helpful because one day, my granddaughter Heidi came up to me and she said, "Nana?" I said, "Yes." She said, "What happens to Pop-Pop happens to you." And I said, "Do you mean if I were to die?" "Oh, Nana, yes. If you were to die, well, can we still go to Disney World?" "Yes," I said, "of course you can. I want you to thrive. Every time you choose joy, you're honoring me. Success!" Children ask bold questions because they trust the relationships holding them. And that brings us to another legacy-building superpower, relationship development. The Harvard University study of adult development shows that the best predictor for lifetime happiness is strong relationships. Successfully aging seniors know that the most important things are not the things that shine, but the things that last. Gratitude, practiced daily. Relationships tended carefully. A divine sense of purpose, moral clarity, and a legacy tended intentionally. So, what do we seniors do with all this resilience, relationship development, happiness skills we've learned? Because although we're not dead yet, someday we will be. Do we just let all these wonderful skills die with us? I say no. How many of you, by show of hands, want to leave your families a strong legacy and lasting relationships? This is the interactive part. Okay, yes, I can see most of you do. Yay, that's a good thing. Well, let's talk about how we do that. First of all, it's an uphill battle starting now because over half of families show conflict surrounding the death of a loved one. And a University of Alberta study puts that number at almost 80%. 80%. Yikes. Imagine your family after you die. They're lost. They're grieving. They're overwhelmed. They may even be arguing over whether you died in hospice or in a hospital. Then, when they try to find your documents, your passwords, your will, all the important papers needed to manage your estate, they can't find them. Or worse yet, none of them exist at all. Yikes again. What happens is a descent into a legal and financial maze that breeds conflict and can ignite some conflicts that might last a lifetime and compounds the grief. How many families have to suffer through this simply because we don't prepare? This doesn't have to happen. This is preventable. We have the responsibility to be prepared and leave our families in better shape. So, how do we do this? Well, the good news is there's only 4 essential steps. And because death is unpredictable, these steps are important for everyone, young and old. Step number 1. There you go. Get your affairs in order. Clean up your mess. Do your diligence. And put everything in one place where it can be found easily. Step number 2. Define your legacy. Hopefully you're leaving lots of wonderful legacies like resilience, relationship development, happiness. But the greatest legacy you can leave is love. Everyone can leave love. Show your families you love them. Tell them often. The greatest love letter of all time was written by St. Valentine to be delivered after his death. And look at the impact that letter had. Why not follow in his footsteps and express your love beyond the grave? Consider leaving your family Valentines. When I die, my family knows that they have all the stuff they need in one 3-ring binder. And I hope that they know how much I love them, that they can see that I put that together for them. But just in case they don't get the message, they'll find the Valentines I left for them in that same 3-ring binder, and the trip to Disney World I left for them. You're welcome, Heidi. Some things are just some things that you don't want to leave to chance. Step number 3, talk to your family about grief and about death. I know that conversation is hard, but it's absolutely essential. And for you younger adults, one of the most loving things you can do is to talk to your parents about aging, downsizing, safety, before a crisis forces it. These conversations don't weaken a family, they strengthen them. And finally, step number 4, get your emotional affairs in order. Forgive before it's too late. Apologize now. Reconcile while you still can. How many minutes do you have left? Death comes unexpectedly. You can't assume there's more time. Are you ready? Aging boldly means living boldly, loving boldly, preparing boldly, so that when your clock stops, your family is not left in pieces, but they stand tall and strong because you showed them how. Thank you very much.